E.G.G. Egregious Games.
Lately, I've been watching Blue Lock. I'm not interested in soccer, but while Blue Lock is a soccer show, it's not about soccer. Blue Lock is about ego. And I've been thinking a lot about how this relates to being a solo dev. Philip Pullman once said, there are two kinds of authors. Those who write for others, and those who write for themselves. Both are equally selfish. I started my creative career as a writer, and so I'm very used to the solo working environment. I'm very used to the idea that if you're not working, there is no advancement of your creative project. The only person who is working on this is you. I can't work with others because when I work with others, I spend as much time working on the game as I do talking about what we want from the game, talking about the design. I'd rather take all that time and energy and put it into working on the game. Now, does it make it harder? Yes. Does it make it stressful? Yes. That whole philosophy carried across over to my video game dev, and it's carried across to my tabletop RPG design. When you're a solo dev, you don't have a team, you don't have a guy to work on the UX, you don't have an art team, you don't have people whose entire jobs are just to talk to the public. No, you wear all the hats, you do everything yourself. And there are some things a solo dev can't do. There's a lot of value in having people who do different jobs on a team. There's a lot of value of having someone who can dedicate their whole time towards just the coding and not have to worry about the game design. While game teams and teams of creatives in general have to work towards some kind of consensus, as an indie dev or a solo dev, you're not shackled by those restrictions. You can truly just be creative. This is a rant, but it has a point. The amount of time I've been working on my game now is coming up to nearly 2 years. Out of curiosity, last night, I had a look at the word count of my RPG book, my core rules as it stands. Now, I couldn't be asked to copy and paste everything into some word counter, into Word or whatever. I just had a look at the kind of rough average word counts of various pages, and I counted the number of pages. And what I can estimate is that currently my book stands at least 100,000 words. And this isn't 100,000 words of cruft or fluff, of character classes. This is all just system stuff. This is pure stuff. And for every 1,000 words I've written at least 10,000 words of drafting, of scrap notebooks. This is design work. For every 10 minutes I spend typing, I'm probably spending at least 50 minutes thinking, just trying to think of the ideas. So working it out, if I've been at this 2 years and it's less than 2 years, and I'm just going off the word count of, say, I've done 100,000 in the core notebook, I know I've done at least 1 million words. That means I've been doing at least 1,369 words per day. And that even includes times when I've had to take weeks off. Earlier this year, I had to get a 24 blood pressure device fitted to measure because I was so stressed out from working and everything else that my blood pressure got real high. It didn't just get high, it got high and then low. It got fucking unpredictable. That's bad. I had to take several weeks off working. I had to quit my ADHD medication for a good 3 months just to bring myself back to baseline. Which brings me to a point. There's something as a solo dev no one can ever beat you at. And that is, as a solo dev, you have a choice. You're going to spend all your time fucking around on Reddit or Facebook or Blue Sky or Twitter or whatever social media, or you're going to work. You have full control over all your outcomes. You can say, I will not be outworked by anybody. People who work in teams don't have that choice because they have to attend this meeting and that meeting. Their time gets taken up. As an indie dev, you have the choice to not be outworked. And you might say, well, Greg, I gotta work a fucking day job. I don't have the luxury of working every day on my project. I am exhausted, and that's fair enough. I think that's most indie devs out there. When I was taking calls, working in call centers, I had a fucking notebook, and all day I was writing things down. Now, if your job is in heavy machinery or you're driving, obviously you can't do that. I'm not telling you to take risks, but I am saying you can always do a little more. And there are so many people out there who will take any excuse to not try hard. And with being a solo dev, there is intrinsically an element of ego. Even when you're working on a team, you can embody these principles. You can set your ego to work for you. Now, when I say ego, I don't mean arrogance, although I've been accused many times of arrogance. And when people call me arrogant, what they mean is you're not willing to change your mind to that of the consensus. The way I define ego is you hold your own principles. You are not swayed by outside consensus, by the turning of tides. You are a rock in an ocean. And as a solo dev, having ego is necessary. You cannot be swayed by what's happening this week or what's happening that week. Oh, MOBAs become popular. Now everyone's making a MOBA. Arena games become popular, so now everyone's making a fucking arena game. How did that work out for those devs, those teams? I mean, it worked out for Fortnite because they have so many fucking resources, because they literally have millions, and they're already in a position with the engine and with the teams where they can build that out fast. But how did it work out for everyone else? Everyone who just followed the tide without understanding, without having a vision of their own. How'd that work out for Concord? It's the dumbest possible thing. When people see 3D platformers like Mario and go, oh, well, that sold really well, so if I make a 3D platformer, I'll make the same amount of money. Well, the thing is, Mario 64 came out when there weren't a ton of 3D platformers. So what you should be copying, if anything, is coming up with something original, coming up with something that other people aren't already making. Tabletop RPG designers think making OSR games is some kind of indie statement, but all you're doing is copying a design that has existed for decades. There are thousands of OSR games out there. What are you doing? It's so fucking unoriginal. And I think the reason people have latched onto the OSR isn't even because of what it's doing that they like, it's simply because it's not doing the things they don't like about a lot of modern games. And that's just fine. If you think you can add something to the discussion of design, that's wonderful. But if you're just trying to make a buck, well, there's a lot of slop out there already. What we don't need is more slop. In the era of AI, do you think we need another man talking on the fucking YouTube who's just repeating the same things? Oh, Elon Musk is buying D&D. Blah, 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 weighing on this weekly topic, weighing in on that weekly topic, just to get washed away in the stream of the algorithm. Your heart's not in it. We can feel it. We can tell. The world doesn't need more shit writing or shit art. AI has that covered. We need more individuality. People will come up with any excuse to not work hard. They'll go, oh, well, you look at Blue Lock, that's not about me. All of those people are talented. But if you watch the show, that's not what the message is about. It's about overcoming your weaknesses. It's about pushing past. That's why I love some of these shows that are just pure inspiration. I'm a dumbass in a lot of ways. I put all of my points into game design. The reason I do good work is because I'm obsessed, is because I do not let myself be outworked. And this isn't a game that I just made because I wanted to have an idea. I wanted to think of something. I didn't think of it. It just appeared in my brain. It coalesced over time, and I simply had to make it. That's how all of my ideas are. I have an idea, and it just feels right. True creatives know what that feeling is. You feel something. It feels right. You follow that feeling. And it is not easy. Now, I'm not saying you have to push yourself all the time. I don't think you should push yourself all the time. What I discovered this year were my physical limits. So I had to dial that back down. I had to let my body rest a bit so that I could then get back up to near capacity. All I'm saying is there's always more you could be doing. I could be sitting playing FF14. I could be playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm so behind on game releases. You know, one of the reasons I haven't made very many videos for this channel is because honestly, I haven't played that many games in the last 2 years. I haven't spent nearly as much time working on that because these days I'm more interested in my own projects. It's more fulfilling for me because I'm driven. This game that I'm working on, those creatives that really know this drive, when you get an idea, it consumes your life and it's joy. Even though I'm stressed, even though I'm working hard, I'm experiencing pure bliss when I'm working on this game. Listen, I'm not here to tell you how to enjoy your life. There's nothing wrong with collecting a paycheck. There's nothing wrong with taking it easy. Life is hard and you're gonna be dead, so never forget to enjoy yourself along the way. But what I've learned from Blue Lock is the importance of ego. Ego is about doing what you believe is right, even when everyone else tells you it's wrong. It's about doing what you believe, even if it's just for you, especially if it's just for you, because there's no motivating force more powerful than what you do for yourself.